What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I have a very special video for you guys today. Right now, I'm on a mission to become the highest frequency version of myself, and you should be doing the exact same thing because when you're at that highest frequency, that's when the most money is going to be made. That's when you're going to be living in a state of bliss, and that's when you're able to actually achieve your peak human potential as a human. Now, not only will your health, wealth, and relationships all improve once you reach this highest frequency, but you'll also be able to see life just escalate in terms of like just taking your reality to an entire different level. Now, to find out how to become this highest frequency person and how to actually obtain the traits of this certain type of person, you need to reverse engineer this entire process and basically first off find out what makes the worst and lowest frequency person and find all of the traits that that person has. So it's pretty easy to do that. Basically just look at someone who has a really shit life, and I can look back at my life and just see like how I felt and what traits I had that led me to leave the life that was absolute shit for me. So the first 5 traits I could list for you is I was lazy, stupid, undisciplined, scarcity mindset, and apathetic. So to find the opposite of these traits will lead you to a person that's a lot better off than that first person that we just listed the traits for. So for that, you can just put, instead of lazy, you can put takes action, apathetic, strong, and scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. So you kind of get the idea. You just basically want to reverse engineer the entire process of actually how to become this highest frequency person. And it's just easily done by writing out all the traits of the lowest frequency person and then doing the opposite of those traits either with ChatGPT or just finding the opposite version of those words with Google and then placing those words into a piece of paper, so that way you can find out what traits you need in order to become the certain person you do want to become. So, the importance of living and attaining the highest frequency in life, like I was saying at the very beginning of the video, is to become that type of person where everything just comes to you instead of you going to chase it. So what I mean by that is, if you're like myself and a year ago, basically I was working at that gas station, Red Lobster, and just working at 2 very low frequency places. And I was still having the same goal I have now, which is basically to get rich as possible. And I would have never gotten there because I was operating at such a low frequency, just because I was settling for the life that I had, working at a gas station and at a restaurant, and basically just taking all this shit and letting it affect me and basically affect my frequency to bring it very down and made it very low. And it wasn't very inspiring to me, and it just limited my potential and my income, as well as how I actually felt about myself. And I was just operating at a very low frequency. And now that I'm able to actually travel the world and make money online with remote sales, my frequency has raised a lot higher than what it has been in the past. And I'm feeling good every single day. My motivation's up, my energy is up, and my inspiration everywhere I go. And I'm seeing these people drive Bugattis, Lambos. They have all these nice things and basically just living life like I want to be living in the future. It just really inspires me and raises my frequency high enough to actually see the possibility of me living that life for myself. Because back in Noonan, Georgia, I had no chance of seeing that lifestyle that I could be living because everyone else was working in the 9 to 5, going to university, partying, and just doing things that everyone else was doing. So when you expand your horizons and go out there to push yourself out of your comfort zone to go see what the world has to offer, then you will actually see what's possible. And if they're another human like yourself, then it's also possible for you because they are just flesh and blood, just like you and I. It's just what they know and what value they have within themselves that separates them from you. And it's all just about attaining what they know and getting to their frequency that determines how much money you make and if you can live that exact lifestyle that they're living for yourself. So the ways you can actually improve your frequency and raise it to that point where you're able to improve your health, wealth, and relationships is I can give you a few different ways, but you need to find out for yourself what gets you to that highest frequency so that way you can try to stay there consistently. So for me personally, what helps me reach a very high frequency and gets me there really fast is number one, and this is probably the easiest and best for you, and that's running, and not just slight jog, but running. Like when you kind of reach out of breath and you're a little bit tired, but you get that second wind, that's when you actually attain that next frequency, and that's when I feel best, especially right after I feel motivated. I feel like I just got back from war. I'm ready to take on my second life. So, I mean, running, that's probably the easiest and my number one thing to do to actually reach that highest frequency. And then number two for me is just going to very high end luxury places. And that means just villas or renting supercars or doing something to take myself out of my current life and seeing myself in a higher version of myself. So, for example, back in Koh Samui, back in Dubai, we rented very high-end apartments and villas that were a little bit above our ends in terms of like how much we could afford. So, I mean, they were like almost $1,000 a night split between four people. So it was a little bit cheaper, but it still was pretty expensive. So, I mean, basically, we just got to see like what our lives could look like if we just kept going down the path we're going to now. And when we were staying at these villas and apartments in Koh Samui in Dubai, basically our frequencies were raised to our future selves, and we were able to operate at a very high frequency. And our minds just began to click, and we're like, okay, if we want to stay at this level, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to level up this part of our life, and we're able to see different things in our lives at the current moment that we could level up to potentially get us there to actually live at those villas and apartments permanently. And with the supercars and everything, I mean, I probably won't even own a supercar in the future just because I value my freedom and my time of being able to travel the world and live life on my own terms. And if you ever like buy a house, a supercar, or you just buy any type of thing that kind of chains you down to one location, then you're giving up a little bit of your freedom. So I don't really want to do that unless I'm just like a billionaire and a car is just like the price of a sandwich for me. So I don't think I'll buy a supercar in the future, but just renting one and being able to sit inside and see yourself driving it, it kind of gives you that frequency that you need in order to see how you can actually attain this car for yourself and actually make it possible to do so. Because even though I might not ever buy a supercar and own it myself, I'll see like what it actually takes in order to do so. And when you're driving it, you're actually feeling the emotions when you're driving, like, oh man, I'm driving this supercar right now. I'm going very fast. It's very nice, very luxurious. I'm thinking to myself, like, how can I even afford this for myself? And I'm thinking of different ways and different pathways on how I can acquire the money in order to acquire this supercar. So we got the apartment, we got the villas, we got the supercars, we got the running. And on number three is just being surrounded by the people that are very high frequency and not being surrounded by very low frequency people. So that way, you probably already heard this a million times, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around. So if you're hanging around 5 very low frequency people who are drinking, doing drugs, partying all the time, they're very aimless in life. They don't know where they're going, or maybe they're just playing video games, wasting their entirety of their life on just sitting there playing video games, sipping on soda, and not really doing anything with your life, and you're the average of those 5 people, guess what? You're going to be the next one up. You're going to be sitting right next to them playing video games. You're going to be like, hey man, can I get another soda? And that's just not how you want to be living life. You want to surround yourself with 5 people who are millionaires, people living life on their own terms, just people who are above you and physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, and just people you can actually look up to. Because if you're the smartest, richest, strongest in the room that you're in the wrong room. You need to go into a room of people where everyone's going to be richer than you, everyone's going to be smarter than you, everyone has a bigger business than you. That's the room you want to be in, because that way it'll only mean that the only place you can go is up. And growth will just be surrounded by you. Your frequency will be raised because like, oh man, I'm the worst in this room physically, financially, mentally. I need to figure out how to level up these aspects of my life to get to these people's levels. And that's the power of networking anyways. Once you get to know these people and understand how they think and how they operate, you're able to apply those things into your life so that way you can get to their level yourself. So basically, being able to attain the highest frequency as a human will be able to take you to places you've never thought you would ever go to and achieve things that maybe you thought were impossible because you're hanging around the wrong group of people, or maybe you're just operating at that very low frequency where you think nothing is possible and you just have that scarcity mindset. So learn how to attain the highest frequency for yourself. Go through life and be aware of like what brings you up and what brings you down, and keep doing things that bring you up in terms of like how you feel and how you think, and let go of the things that bring you down and make you feel a little bit depressed. Because a lot of my friends back home, they listen to a lot of bad music, like they listen to shit that makes you feel depressed, or maybe they do drugs that just make you lazy, stagnant, and just make you feel depressed even though it gives you that illusion of you actually feeling happy. Let go of those things and hold on to the things that actually drive your frequency to the top, and try to strive to get that highest frequency, so that way you can actually level up your life in terms of physical, financial, mental, spiritual, and just take your reality to a whole nother level. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.